Welcome back, Sunday Society, to another episode of Taking Back Sunday. We are at week 10 of Battle of the Karens, and gosh, we're almost done.
4 more weeks.
Yeah.
4 more battles.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, go to our Facebook, vote. We want to know who you think is the biggest Karen out of every week.
Yep.
So speaking of the biggest Karens,
yes,
we had I had a hot take that I had seen on TikTok about a white racist lady calling a black woman at a Free Fray concert the N-word.
Yeah. Not even one of our Karen stories.
No, it was a hot take because I was so mad. I'm like, if you're going to be a racist, just be about it. Then we talked about having a racist in our community who's blatantly racist. Yeah. So we might actually have more conversation about that another time, but we're going to stick to Josie. And to start out, I did reach out to Josie because we've talked about this, having privilege, you can use it. Mm-hmm. And I felt like we did, and we have. And so I reached out to her and was like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? I had no idea that was going to get as many views and as many responses. And she was like, respectfully, no, because this woman has threatened her. Yeah. And she's like, so I'm just going to talk about what I know, because I did just come in hot-headed and mad, and then I didn't get all the details right, and I wanted to kind of like make sure I got them right. Yeah. So they were at a Free Fray concert. The racist lady, Laura, was standing with her family, or sitting behind Josie and her mom and her son, and they were standing because it was a concert, and of course, like, that's what you do at a concert, and apparently she didn't like that. So Laura moves in front of Josie, really close in front of her. Mm-hmm. And Josie's like, why are you so close? Like, there's all this space. And she's like, well, now you know how it feels, because you guys won't, you're standing up and we can't see. And she's so like, obnoxious. What? And so anyway, words are mixed or whatever. This lady, Laura, calls her the N-word. At one point, Laura is standing so close to Josie that she has a fan and she's kind of dancing and, using the fan to cool herself. And it hits it hits Laura on like her shoulder or something. And she's like saying that's assault because you literally put yourself in the distance. Her space. That's so ridiculous. Anyway, so I just wanted to make sure the original video that went out, that went all over TikTok, and that's where I seen it, actually was sent to Josie by a stranger who witnessed it happening. Josie then goes and gets security after the N-word is mentioned. Mm-hmm. Security's like, I'm going to tell you the same thing as I'm going to tell her. Everybody be nice and you can stay. If we can't get along, somebody's got to go. Then Laura gets mouthy with security and she gets herself kicked out. So
sucks to suck, lady.
It sucks to suck. So,
and this was in North Carolina.
Oh yes, and that's the biggest thing. It's like up north, and I'm like, no.
I think you said like Minnesota or something.
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Yeah,
is in North Carolina.
Which, based on the comments, it sounds like that's par for the course in North Carolina. I had no idea.
I don't know. I'm not from there.
We're
from
either.
Missouri. We're from Missouri here.
Yeah, and we know what we got. So
yeah. So. I don't know. Laura has said that people have threatened her. They probably have. I mean,
TikTok's wild.
Sappho. Yeah. I hate to say it, like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, but whatever. Anyway, so her original name was Laura S260, but then she changed it to Cats and Wine 88. And so Laura's posts went away. Or maybe not away, but they definitely weren't. Anyway, so I find this Cats and Wine 88, and the first two videos I see she had posted on 6/23 were two monkey videos. One is a monkey in a jail suit in like
behind bars.
Yeah, behind bars, and like one of the bars is like going through its head, which was weird. And then the other one is just like a monkey with like glasses drawn on them, which Josie wears glasses.
Yeah, it's all very racially charged.
So then she had another video where she talks about why is it not okay for me to say it, but it is for like an 80-year-old or a child who's 5 or 6 who has
heard their parents
say that. The answer is it's never okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay, Laura. It is not okay. And then she comes out. And then in that she talks about her looks and how people said she was fat, and she's showing what size she wears and how she wears like a small or an extra small shirt, and her waist, she wears a size 5. No one cares. We care that you're a decent human being.
Yeah, she's
off her rocker. And I made like a video at work because I was so irritated about it. Just kind of mumbling about my feelings. But anyway, so then she just made a new one that came out a day ago. It'll be longer, or whatever. Well, actually, no, we can probably put it out pretty quick. So it'll, within the last couple of days when you got seeing this, it went out. And I don't know, you heard it. What did you get from it?
She's basically just rambling about how it truly is. It's nonsensical. And it's really just like, poor me. It's like, I'm sorry that I'm suffering, or there's no, I'm sorry. She
says she regrets.
I was like, she
hopes that we accept her regret.
Yeah.
That's not an apology.
It's not an apology. And she's only saying it because she is having negative, like, consequences of her actions.
Yeah.
Like, that, it wasn't sincere.
She brings up Josie being a mom and says that she shouldn't have a child. And,
it was
then
like
brings
getting
up CPS and like 6 families getting broken up because of Josie. And
it was all very strange.
Lady, you have caused your own issues. You were, honestly, it seems to me that she is not like sober-minded when she is
I was going to say she's not well.
Something. She even created a GoFundMe, even though she admitted she hadn't lost her job because her family
owns the place that she works.
But like, she created a GoFundMe, and that's just disgusting. Like, you can't, again, play stupid games and win stupid prizes. You go out in a public place, you get into a conflict with somebody, you call them the N-word, and then you are going to be like, poor me, woe is me, I'm the victim.
Yeah.
And you're not. And you never admitted that you said what you said. And everybody that has seen that video knows by your responses, you said it. Yeah. Just own it. And then you want to talk about, like, in the last video, she wants to talk about how people say she looks old and how she gets carded all the time.
Yeah, I was like, girl,
nobody cares.
Nobody asked you about that.
Nobody cares. And maybe they did make a comment about you looking old and your raggedy nose, and like, I saw those, but dang, nobody cares about that. They care about the fact that not only did you call this woman the N-word, you called this woman and another woman out of her name a racial slur in front of her mother and her child in a public place. So if you feel comfortable saying that out in public, what are you thinking or saying or doing, like, in private? It's disgusting. So if you don't want to be viral for being a racist,
maybe don't be a racist.
Don't be a racist. Do better. And honestly, I feel like the way that things have been going in our community, because I did bring that up in the first video, our community, if you don't like being called out, don't be a racist.
Yeah, don't be about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you said it. If you're going to be about it, be about it. Don't be shy.
Yeah, if you are going to be a racist, just say that's what I am. So we just know, and I know.
You suck.
Yeah, I know you're a horrible person. I want nothing to do with you. Yeah. Or anybody that is, like, involved with you.
Yeah. Anybody that supports that kind of behavior, it's exactly that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my take. I did have a few things. The biggest thing was I said Wisconsin. It was North Carolina. It's crazy. But yeah, I was just so mad that I missed, like, really getting the details and reporting it correctly, because I was like, I knew the gist of it. And the gist of it is that a white woman at a Frey concert called a black woman the N-word, and then she wanted to act like a victim.
Yeah.
And then be like, you don't have proof I said that. Okay, but like,
plenty of witnesses equals proof.
If somebody gets on here and says Hannah has called me the N-word, I will be on a video being like, I would never. I would say I did not. I would not. I would never. She never says that.
Yeah.
And then tries to justify it with all these other things, and then again makes herself the victim.
Yep. We talked about deny what you can't admit and admit what you can't deny. That was the expression that I used the last time. I just couldn't remember the admit part. But yeah, you deny what you can't admit to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
She's going to deny it because she can't admit it.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
Yeah. Go anyway, sit in syrup.
Sit in syrup.
Let the bees get you.
Stimp, whatever your name is, Slimp. I think it's Slimp, which is an awful last name. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Oh.
No, it sounds like she's got the name she deserves.
She sounds hideous. Anyway, I am excited to do week 10. I have a very long but very good story for you today.
Awesome. I have a very long, it's funny. It's not like dramatic.
Well, this one, I think we'll have some laughs.
All right, so let's grab some coffee, get comfy, and let's take back Sunday.
What you got?
All right, so this is from Reddit, and the title that they gave it is, Karen tries to order pizza from me while I am eating pizza myself, then refuses to believe I don't work there.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. So hi, Reddit. This is my first post ever, and I felt like this story was good enough to post here. For context, I work at a chain bakery that has a bright blue polo shirt and khaki-colored pants as the uniform, with the bakery's logo embroidered on one of the sleeves. I couldn't figure out what she was talking about.
She probably just means like it's very obvious who works there and who does it.
Okay. I thought they meant like maybe Lamar's or like like Dutch Bros or something. Yeah. Like it would be obvious. So coming home from work on the bus, there's a small plaza at the stop before mine that has some pretty bomb pizza, and every once in a while I'll stop by the plaza to grab some and walk the rest of the way home.
Okay.
The uniform there, oh, that's why she said it. The uniform there is a fire truck red shirt with the logo completely covering the back and black pants. If someone can tell me how Karen got this mixed up, I would love to know. The cast is myself, me, Pizza Girl, PG, Manager, M, and Karen, K. She gives dialogue. Yes. So anyway, here's the story. On this great day, I was running on 3 to 4 hours of sleep, a cheese croissant and coffee, had just gotten off of an 8 to 3 o'clock shift, and I hadn't had time to grab lunch while on break. So suffice to say, I was hungry. Hungry enough that I didn't even care that I was still in my work uniform. I just wanted food pronto. So I stopped by the pizza parlor, grabbed a slice, some Mountain Dew, and a cookie for the road, and sat down a happy customer. I had my headphones in and was scrolling through my phone while I ate when the staff disappeared behind the counter. No biggie. About a minute later, Karen walks in. It was just me in the place at the time, and the staff was in the kitchen. The most attention I gave her was a quick glance before looking back to my phone and taking another sip of my pop, which I would have called it soda, whatever. Just kidding. I assumed she would just go up to the counter and order, like a normal person.
Yeah, like a normal person.
I assumed wrong. Before I knew it, she was standing right beside my table and giving me that old disapproving stare only Karens are capable of. This was our interaction as follows. Me, taking an earbud out and lowering my volume. Can I help you? Karen, hi, can I get a... Starts listing her order. Oh, sorry, but I don't work here. Pauses as if this information was too large of a worldview shift for her to process.
Oh, no.
And in the end, her brain just could not compute. First, don't interrupt me. That's very rude. Second, that's a uniform. This is an establishment. I know you work here, so don't give me that attitude. The logic of this Karen made my own brain short circuit.
You interrupted her, Karen interrupted her first, number one. She was like, excuse me.
Interrupted her whole vibe.
Yeah. Rude.
I guess it showed on my face, because the next thing I knew, her jaw dropped in shock, and she was railing me on my horrendous work ethic and berating me over wearing headphones on the job and, quote, eating all the product that's meant for the customers. She even went as far as to say that I'd made a huge mistake, as she was a regular and had more than enough leeway to get me fired. Side note, if she was a regular, she would have known what she would have known what the uniform looked like. Shaking my head. It was around this point that I remembered the logo on my sleeve and just wordlessly turned my arm and pointed at it. Karen stops yelling long enough to give it a proper look, and I could see the color just drain from her face. I'm a petty little crap, though, so to rub salt into the wound, I tacked on a not-so-friendly, see that? What was this place called again? Then, not 2 seconds later, an actual staff member shows up behind Karen and asks if there's a problem. I thought that was the end of it. Karen, yes, there's a problem. Your coworker was extremely rude to me. Yep, That's right. Karen was still insisting that I worked there.
Oh my gosh. What the heck?
Yeah, girl has lost it.
Oh my.
Pizza girl looks at me and recognizes me as the girl she just served. Ma'am, she doesn't work here. Don't lie to me. I want to see a manager. PG goes to get her manager. All the while, Karen is giving me the snobbiest death glare I've ever gotten in my life. I just sighed and took another sip of my pop. Then PG and her manager come back out. The manager says, "Hi, what's the problem here?" Karen, that girl refused to take my order and was extremely rude to me. You need to discipline her. Manager, same as Pizza Girl, looks at me and knows I don't work here. She doesn't work here, ma'am, but I can take your order if you'd like.
Oh my God.
The patience of these people.
Yeah.
Finally, Karen leaves me alone and follows the manager to place her order. I could hear her complaining about me though, so I started packing up my things to eat my pizza at home and in peace. PG stopped me though, handing me a takeout bag with another slice, garlic dip, and a cookie. She said it was both an apology for having to deal with Karen and a thank you for being one of their nicer regulars. Still puts a smile on my face, and this was yesterday.
Aw.
On my way out, though, I heard Karen demanding a free pizza. I hope those guys turned out okay. Anyway, thanks for reading.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Edit. Wow, thanks for silver and gold. I honestly didn't think this story would get very popular, but I guess people liked the story. A couple of you are asking why I didn't just tell Karen to F off. Here's why. 1, I was still in my work uniform and therefore, unfortunately, still representing the company I work for.
Yeah.
2, I'm generally pretty non-confrontational as I have mild form of social anxiety. And 3, I was too tired to really care. I work in retail. I get people like this all the time. You learn how to just turn your brain off and block out the stupid. Update. Karen called my place of work to complain.
What?
Yes. So I just got home and I've been itching to post this. So on shift today was myself, my manager, an angel, by the way, and my buddy. Let's call him James. I told him what happened the day I posted the story, which was the day after it happened. Partly because I wanted to give my side of the story in case Karen called, but mostly just because I needed to share. My manager laughed, but told me not to worry about it, so I didn't. Fast forward to today. My district manager paid us a visit, doing the standard checkups and whatnot. It was the end of her visit, however, that things got interesting. She was asking for our opinions on a certain matter. What was that matter, you ask? Whether or not she should block a certain caller from being able to contact her at our head office. My manager, why? What's this caller doing? District manager, she keeps calling to see if I fired one of our girls. Manager, what do you mean? What happened? Initially, she called to complain that one of our girls was behaving indecently and was rude to her. Only thing is, she didn't have a name and the incident didn't happen at one of our stores. All she had was her description and that she was wearing our uniform. I told her there wasn't anything I could do for her and she hung up on me. She's called a few times to see if I've taken action yet though, and it's getting annoying. James and I share a look. The "you don't think" look. James, wait. Her description? The district manager scoffs. It wasn't even a good one. All she said is that the girl was short, had black hair, mid-tone skin, and brown eyes. That could be anyone. Gestures toward me. There was a small pause. Then James starts laughing. My manager cluing in. Oh my God, do you think it was? Me, no way. The district manager, wait, what's going on? And looks at me. Do you know something? Was it actually you? I couldn't help it. I just started laughing. James and my manager joined in, and my district manager just smiled. It was you, wasn't it? I nodded, and she started laughing too. After I explained what happened, my district manager let me know she'd go ahead and have that number blocked. Bakery employee 1, Karen 0.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
That's crazy. That was crazy.
Crazy.
The fact that she called like not the place that she was, but
she didn't get that. Like, the logo wasn't the logo, and that she's like, your coworker won't.
But then she clearly knew that the lady didn't work at the pizza place because she called the bakery headquarters.
I don't
know. The lady needs, get her some milk. She crazy.
So this one is titled Family Vacation Karens.
Plural.
Yeah, so this isn't a story about one individual. It's an entire family.
Oh my.
And them issues that they dealt with renting a cabin next door. The story starts in spring of 2023. A family of 5 show up at a cabin, which is by my sister-in-law's house, which is no big deal. My sister said it looked like they were just your typical suburban family, 2 parents, 3 kids. The issue actually started when my brother-in-law started to find trash in the yard somewhere a week or so in. Things like candy wrappers, frozen treat trash, that kind of stuff you can get at a gas station cooler. Understand, my brother-in-law and my sister take pride in their clean yard. Their dogs are very well behaved, and a part of that is having a space that they can play that's safe. So when my brother-in-law found the trash, he wasn't very happy. At first, he didn't know who was doing it until he noticed 2 boys on bikes riding down the road. They were eating stuff and casually tossing the trash as they went. He first actually walked down to the nearest local neighbor. They are a retired elderly couple, and he asked them about the trash. They explained that they had been seeing the boys do the same thing. So my brother-in-law, content with this shorthand investigation, decided to talk to the source. He walked over to the cabin in question and knocked. A guy probably maybe 10 years younger opened the door. My brother-in-law described him like a cheap car salesman type. We will call this guy Kevin for the sake of the theme.
Poor Kevin's.
Brother-in-law kindly brought up the trash and explained that he had dogs, and due to being afraid of them getting a hold of something that would make them sick, and asked if the kids could not toss trash in the neighborhood. This dude tried to argue, insisting that brother-in-law should just keep the dogs leashed and it's not his fault what happens, or at least something along those lines.
It's not his fault that his kids are throwing trash? Yeah. Okay.
It's 2023.
These are your kids, man.
Yeah. Before brother-in-law could say anything, Kevin closed the door, and that's the last thing my brother-in-law heard from the other side, except for laughter and the word hick being tossed around. Now, my brother-in-law is a surprisingly chill guy. He knows when to pick a fight, and so he chooses to stay chill. That night, he explained what happened to my sister after she got home from work. She wanted to kick some tail, but brother-in-law talked her down. Things started to get a little bit more interesting a few days later when brother-in-law started noticing a lot more trash in their yard.
Oh, no.
And deeper in, not just like on the edges of the yard. So brother-in-law decides to go over and talk to them again. He walks over, knocks, and gets entitled Kevin again. From what my sister said, he told my brother-in-law that it's not something they give a crap about, and that they have seen their dogs, brother-in-law and sister's dogs, off their leash, plus that brother-in-law and my sister were just hicks. So after getting the door slammed in his face, brother-in-law started to think of ways to handle the issue, but Kevin and his wife, Karen, tried beating him to the punch because of what happened. The next day, my sister came home and a cop was there. My sister knew the cop and they sat down. The officer said they got a call about a dog attack. They have dogs. My sister had to laugh at that one. Why? Because my sister takes the dogs with her every day to work.
Bet Kevin and Karen didn't know that.
The report was from earlier that day when no one would have been home. So after confirming that my sister had the dogs with her and they were not home, there was no issue with the cop. So later my sister found out that they only got a warning, but the cop did tell them, like, you can't make false statements, things like that.
Yeah.
So for a couple of months, things really did quiet down. It seemed like the TIF was done until our entitled vacationers started having parties. Now, the parties weren't loud. They seemed civil, but 2 weeks after parties started, a trash bag was dumped into my sister's yard.
Ooh.
My sister found it while out on the deck. It was still fairly early in the morning, sitting next to the driveway. She wasn't sure what happened, so she moved it to the bin and waited for my brother-in-law. She told him what she had found, and he decided to start setting up trail cams. He had a few left over from his days of hunting, figuring if it was Kevin and his family or some rando one-off, at least they would know. After setting them up, it didn't take long. He caught 2 really nice videos of one of the boys and their daughter dumping trash into the yard. Brother-in-law called the police and let them know what he had caught on video. They couldn't get them on the trash before this, but they got 2 nice-sized fines for littering. My sister thinks the fines totaled about $550.
Wow. Bummer.
After this, she would think the group of entitled vacationers would attempt revenge. But because of the season was going to close soon, they decided to just cut their losses and leave. Good. One day, they were gone. Turns out they had had their own plans. My sister said it was good riddance, and for the winter, things were quiet like they would be normally. Things didn't stay that way.
Dang
you would think people would learn or at least grow up a little bit. But my sister said this last spring they showed up again.
Oh,
this time like they were ready for a long haul. This time they had toys like a boat, 2 jet skis, and a couple of motorbikes. My sister and brother-in-law decided, okay, like it is whatever, but just in case, brother-in-law set up those cameras again just to make sure. So what happened was instead of throwing trash around, it seemed like these people really decided to become a menace in other ways. The boys would ride their motorbikes early in the day up and down the road, revving and racing. For my sister and brother-in-law, they wouldn't be home because they work early, but my sister found out after the fact that the elderly couple down the street tried to call the cops for disturbance a couple of times. The thing was, Kevin and Karen knew what they were doing. They were trying to do everything they could to be obnoxious, and at only times when my sister and brother-in-law were at home. But besides the noise during this time, my sister said that these people were starting to pile up on their trash. Instead of taking it out, it started to pile up in the back. This caused issues, particularly a pest issue. Raccoons and skunks started poking around, digging into the trash pile. Then the bags were torn up and trash would just be tossed everywhere. Yeah. My sister said that after a while, Kevin and his wife, Karen, would end up arguing about it. Then in a day or two, the trash would be gone. Every month, this kept going on. The kids were a loud nuisance. The parents did their own thing. Eventually, starting in July, they started having their parties again. The parties were loud too, much larger than before. My sister found out that the couple had made some local friends on their weekend escapades and had been talking mad crap. Seemed like the pair had worked their way into the rougher snobs of the town, also known as posh white trash. And man, were they all trashy. All in these parties, cops were called on them about 5 times. In the first few cases, they got a warning and then they started to get fines again. But they just didn't care. Jeez. They were never any underage drinking found, but it was just stupid unreal. As my other sister said when we were told all of these people, they were on a mission. But did it backfire? My sister said the issues with trash got worse and they would eventually pick it up, but it stunk really bad and the piles of trash would change, like where they would go, and then they would like even get into the water. Old beer cans, discarded food, just rotten. Anyone who knows that smell is nasty. Then one bright and wonderful fall day in early September, it happened. As my sister put it, it was fun. She came home from work to see 2 squad cars and a nice size forestry truck parked outside. My sister decided, well, time to get the popcorn. So she sat on her front porch with some tea and started to enjoy the fresh air with the show. She couldn't fully see what was happening because of the brush and the trees, but she could hear that the couple was raving and ranting. Their kids were crying. She said they kept going back and forth from woe is me sounds to yelling and some more noise. Eventually, one officer walked over to my sister-in-law or my sister's house. Apparently, the couple had called in a robbery and insisted that my sister and her husband were destroying things. So because they were mentioned, he had to at least talk with my sister.
What?
Yeah. The cop was nice enough to give us the details. So Kevin and Karen decided to take themselves and the kids out for a nice lunch in town at one of the resorts. They ate, did a few things in town. When they came back, they found the door of the patio smashed in. Trash everywhere, and they could hear noises like someone was grunting.
Dude, it was a bear.
They crowded back into their car and they called the cops, insisting that the neighbors had broken in. But when the cops showed up, they didn't find my sister, her husband, or the overly irate elderly couple. Nope, it was a big old black bear.
I'm telling you, you leave trash around like that, man, and the bears are coming.
At first, the couple refused to believe some animal broke in, insisting it was the Hicks next door, angry about how they were having a great vacation. That's how my sister told it, although she thinks more colorful language was probably used. The officer said they called the forestry service, and with some careful planning, including a well-placed dart, they got the bear out. That pair of buttheads just wouldn't stop. The officer explained how they kept trying to blame my sister and her husband, saying things like they must have led the bear over.
Okay,
or
Karen.
they used bear bait. Like,
okay, the bear bait was the mountain of trash in your backyard. Yeah. Get real.
But the cop told them if anyone baited an animal, it was them.
Mm-hmm.
That they may have gotten lucky not getting caught with their mishandling of their trash in the past, but they weren't this time. Mm-hmm. After my sister and officer talked for a few moments before he left, an hour or so after my brother-in-law got home, and he was let in on what happened. She described it as if it was watching a sinking ship. A cop stayed as the group came and went several times. After a while, the cop left and things went quiet. The next day, they were gone. My brother-in-law snuck over there and took a curious look. They had boarded up the back door but left all the trash. Of course they did. Taking a quick peek into the window, he saw a lot of damage. Cupboards broken into, a couch, a chair torn into, the fridge torn up. It looked like Kevin and company did a minimal attempt to clean up, but must have just given up. By what it seemed, this bear had a heyday in their house.
Gosh.
Later, just from poking around, we found out that the people were just renting and they had not owned that home, and that the people that were rented it had no idea. The actual owners had no clue how they were acting, and that they were very sorry, and that the Kevin and Karen were probably going to get lots of fines for their
for damages,
for, they're the reason the bear came in.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you could sue them.
So it says, this time, as my sister put it, justice was served by a black bear named Karma.
Oh, love that. Yeah. Love little cozy Karma.
Yeah.
I love it. I feel like that was just a whirlwind.
It was a lot.
Holy cow.
Yeah, but moral of the story is horrible neighbors, trashy neighbors, rude neighbors, bear, that eventually their trash got their own karma because the bear came in and destroyed that house, and they're probably going to get sued.
What goes around comes around, right?
Yeah.
This sounds like it could have been the Ozarks.
Yes.
My last story is about another attack, but not a bear.
Okay.
Karen attacked me at the hospital where I work. There's a lot of colorful language in this, so I am going to censor. Some Karen biatch literally attacked me. She brings her teenage son into the ER because he was skateboarding and fell, scraped both knees, and dislocated the other. While waiting for a doctor to reset his knee, I was tasked to clean both of his knees as bits of dirt and gravel had gotten into the wound. This Karen started shouting at me, "You have to have my permission to give my child first aid." I literally picked my head up and said, "Excuse me?" This heifer replies back, "I did not sign any waivers giving you permission to treat my son."
Did you not bring him to the ER, lady?
I told her, "You signed the document when you filled out the intake form." Karen literally stomps her foot and crosses both of her arms over her chest and tilts her nose up in the air and scoffs, "Fine. What did you think was going to happen, lady?"
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to help your kid. Like,
get wrecked, anyway. Lady. I recompose myself and say in my head, "This woman is about to get security called on her crazy self." As I am cleaning his scrapes on both knees, I can tell he is not comfortable with the antiseptic that was used to clean his skin. I say to him, "I know this hurts. Please try your best to hold still." I get the antibiotic ointment and a sterile cotton swab and gently rub the ointment over his wounds, trying not to irritate the poor lad any more than he has already been through. Then finally comes the part where I dress both wounds. We use non-stick gauze pads, sports bandage, as I did not want him to have any more trauma to his already damaged skin when he has to remove the bandage later and continue to apply the antibiotic cream. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I wrap the wounds very well, and my head nurse double-checks my work. She gives me the approval and calls the doctor in. While I'm cleaning the mess up, the Karen shoves me, literally puts her hands on me, out of the way and starts tearing off her son's bandages. He screams and says, "Mom, what are you doing?" At this point, I physically grab her by the shoulders and pin her to the wall while struggling to call security on my radio. She managed to snatch one of the bandages off of her son, literally in a second. I had to physically pin her to the wall while security placed her in handcuffs. Her son is screaming and crying while he watches the security guards enter the room and drag his snot crazy mother Karen of a mother away, literally kicking and screaming and trying to kick the security guards. I'm not sure how hospitals are in the part of the world where you guys read this, but security guards at hospitals here in Estonia are basically uniformed police officers, and hitting one of them is a very serious offense. I am talking prison sentence. They carry pistols as well as taser and riot spray. At a hospital. That's crazy. The hospital director storms over and notices the police taking her away to a holding room in the hospital until one of their patrol officers can take this crazy Karen to jail. He asks what is going on. And the female officer is in the room with myself and the son. The son is traumatized, crying very much. I explained to him that this crazy woman assaulted me and attempted to rip the bandages off of her son's legs. He looked very shocked. Karen was arrested, charged with assaulting a healthcare worker, me, and 2 counts of assaulting a police officer, as well as child endangerment and disturbing the good order of the public. I am new to working in medicine, and seriously, I'm reconsidering something else. This is not the first time I've had to deal with crazy patients.
That's crazy.
Physical assault, man. Lady, this person was just trying to help your kid, and you have the audacity to push her out of the way?
And why?
Right. Like, that's crazy behavior. She had to
have been on something.
That's meth. That's meth.
That's meth.
What's your last one?
My last
Buckle
one
up again?
is evening meal ends my engagement and gets me banned from a steakhouse all in one night.
What?
Yeah, this is on Reddit. Quite a few of mine.
Is the writer on Reddit? Yeah. Or, oh my gosh. Is the writer the Karen?
No.
But she gets banned?
It's a he.
He gets banned from a steakhouse? Okay.
Sorry, I think it's Staring at the Sun featuring SZA is the name of the poster.
Oh, that's fun.
Okay.
I didn't ever get any of the authors of mine.
He's like, so glad that he found this subreddit. And I don't know what the subreddit was, but anyway, here we go. I can finally air my uncensored frustration about the night my engagement was single-handedly corrupted by my entitled mother-in-law. Let's call her Ellen, because she always reminded me of Ellen DeGeneres, even before all the recent news broke. Ew.
Yeah.
So, my girlfriend and I were really engaged to be engaged. We both agreed we wanted to get married, but hadn't done the formal proposal yet because we wanted to meet each other's families first. Neither lived nearby.
Tracks.
I always thought the old trope about meeting the in-laws being a big fiasco was a myth, but, I was younger and more naive then, and because I'm lucky, I guess I'm just lucky I have easy parents. Mm. My girlfriend met them for a few hours. Once we were alone, just me and her, I told them my intentions, and my mom asked, does she have kids already? And my dad asked, does she have a good solid job? And they both asked me, do you really love her? And that was that. I had their full support with my marriage. I thought meeting her parents would be the same. Some grilling was to be expected, but as long as I was honest and respectful, it would all be fine. Relevant fact that they had my girlfriend when they were teenagers by surprise, so now had a do-over daughter, their words, not mine.
Oh my gosh.
Who was just 6 years old.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they waited a long time.
Also, don't call your child a do-over daughter.
I don't like that. I think he wanted you to know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
My girlfriend and I made the trip to their city, and I met them for the first time over dinner at a steakhouse. It was pretty upscale, and we scheduled the dinner for 8 p.m., so I was surprised to see they'd brought the kid along with them. Don't schedule dinner with me at 8 p.m., Heather.
No, I'll be asleep.
I won't be asleep, but I won't want to be just getting there for dinner.
No.
I met everyone, and, there was after, initial awkwardness settled. Once we all kind of sat down, it felt better. We were making great small talk when the 6-year-old said she was thirsty. No big deal, right? Well, all of a sudden, Ellen starts screaming, water, water, water. A waiter came rushing over to see what the commotion was. And without even making eye contact with the poor guy, Ellen went, we've been here forever and no one's even gotten us water. My daughter's been asking.
She was screaming water in the restaurant. Oh my gosh. Okay.
We had been sitting there for about 15 or 20 minutes without service, but they were visibly behind and there was no circumstances that would have warranted the shouting.
The shouting is obnoxious.
I should have realized from how unfazed everyone else was at the table that I should have been bracing myself for a long night, but I couldn't imagine what was going to come.
Oh, no.
The waiter rushed over with water and apologized for the delay, explaining a few very large parties had arrived all at once.
And that do be happening.
The guy seemed sincere and very professional, so I thought, water would just be like the, abnormal part of the night, and we would move on and have a great night. But that is when that is when Ellen kicked into full gear. We need a kids menu, she informed the waiter. He said they didn't have kids menus, but that the chef could simplify most dishes. What do you mean you don't have a kids menu? Ellen replied.
It's a steakhouse,
in
lady.
Total disbelief, as though he had said they didn't have a fire exit. He explained that they didn't get many child visitors and that there were enough plain foods on the menu that they didn't ever need a separate menu. Ellen sighed dramatically and waved him away. Literally, without saying a word, waved him away from the table. Like, wave him off, Wanda.
Like, be gone, peasant.
I tried to give him an apologetic glance, but understandably, he didn't look back our way.
Yeah.
I was so glad the poor guy left and didn't have to be subject to her anymore. Meanwhile, she turned her attention on me, and I almost wished he'd come back.
Oh my gosh, right?
At least he was getting paid to be here.
Oh, shoot.
She was like, so you're a screenwriter? And I explained, well, yes and no. I want to be, but it's hard to get a job in that field that can support yourself on. So I'm working on it I'm working at a nonprofit right now, but there's screenwriting components to the job, though. So I'm really happy there. Ellen turned to her 6-year-old and went, hear that, hun? You want to be sure you snag a man who works for profit. Learn from this. It's not too late for you. I couldn't tell if she was trying to be funny or not, so I just let it pass, looking over to my girlfriend to see if she's even considering speaking up on my behalf. Nope. Could you imagine? This little girl is 6 years old. She is thinking about kindergarten or first grade. She ain't thinking about no profit or for-profit
Girl,
men.
she's thinking about those mini corn dogs she's not going to get to eat tonight.
She's bummed.
And that daughter, the girlfriend, has probably gone through a lifetime of this and is like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. But shame on her if she doesn't.
The waiter came back visibly nervous. That hurt because he was so relaxed and personable at the start of the meal.
Oh.
He asked if we'd like to hear the specials before we ordered, and Ellen said sure. Here's how that went. Waiter, first we have a slightly seared strip steak. Next!
Oh my gosh.
Like interrupting him. Oh, okay, the waiter said. Then we have a broiled leg of grass-fed. Next! Waiter, okay, we have pasta primavera mixed with next! And on until he had gone through all 7 or 10 specials.
Good Lord.
She had ultimately ordered off the menu a plain ribeye well done.
Oh, man.
Of course she did.
Sorry, Mom, but anyone that orders a well done steak is crazy. Sorry, Mom. I love you. You don't watch this anyway, so.
Oh, the shame.
Doesn't matter.
She tried to order her daughter the same, but the kid said she wanted just plain mashed potatoes, so Ellen let her get mashed potatoes alone for dinner, which I would have done the same thing.
She's 6. It's probably 9 o'clock at this point.
Then she sent the waiter away.
Wait, did other people order?
Will you let me just tell the story?
Dang it.
Gosh. The rest of us hadn't even ordered yet, and everyone else just sat there like it was entirely normal.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I waited for someone to say something, thinking it was more her older daughter, my girlfriend's place, or her husband's, but then no one did. So, like I said, was the one steak and potatoes going to be all for us? Or
Is that it?
My girlfriend explained in a tone you'd use for a tourist violating a sacred local taboo. My mom always has the waiter put the kids' food in first so it can get started right away. We'll order once the kitchen has hers. I thought she was joking since Ellen didn't just order her kids' food. She also ordered her own dinner too.
Mm-hmm.
So I laughed. Something funny? Ellen asked. Then I realized she was serious and I shut up. Thankfully, her dad at least recognized that what was normal for them might not be as regular to me and tried to lighten the mood with a change of topic. But not even 10 minutes after we'd ordered, I guess technically 5 minutes after we'd ordered, 10 minutes after she and her daughter had ordered, Ellen started in again. Another table that had been there long before we were got a side order of mashed potatoes with their meal. Ellen threw a total conniption. She was sputtering so inaudibly, no one of us could figure out what was wrong at first. Finally, she managed to flag down some busboy who barely spoke English and began laying into him like he had just sideswiped her on the freeway. He kept trying to explain he wasn't a server, but he could get one, but she wouldn't stop to breathe long enough for him to find somewhere that he could actually help or get a word in. All the while, I kept looking at my girlfriend for signs of embarrassment or at least irritation, but you wouldn't have known if she was even hearing any of this. Our waiter came over, somehow still putting on a smile despite knowing what he was walking into, and Ellen actually goes, "Why did that table get mashed potatoes and ours haven't come yet?" The waiter kindly but concisely explained, "Well, ma'am, those people ordered potatoes before your party had placed their order." Ellen looks this man dead in the eye, finally, because she hadn't before, and says, "Well, it doesn't matter when they ordered it. My daughter is the youngest one here. Her food should come out first." You could tell the waiter was working hard to restrain himself at this point. He explained it was first come, first served policy. Age didn't matter. He offered to go check on the potatoes. Ellen agreed and more specifically said, "Yeah, you better." But I was clocking him and he went right back to his service station because we had only ordered a few minutes ago. 3 or 5 more minutes passed, during which we could have had no other discussion at the table except for how awful this restaurant was, how hungry the poor baby was, who hadn't said a word about being hungry this whole time and was contently playing her loud iPad game without headphones, disturbing all the other diners around us, and how America has lost all respect for motherhood because it's just a me culture now. I chimed in with, "I'm with you on that last part." And to my utter shock, instead of laughing at my joke, my girlfriend seemed annoyed with me.
Oh boy. This is why you meet the family.
Yes.
This is why you meet the family.
So after a few minutes, the waiter comes back and says the potatoes will be out very soon. Ellen then goes and does something that, again, I thought was just a myth. She took 3 singles and a 5 out of her wallet and put them on the table in full view of the waiter. Then she took 1 single away and said, "Every table I see getting potatoes before us is a bill gone." I was absolutely mortified. The waiter,
$8.
$8. And you know
that bill is going to be over $100. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Okay.
I was absolutely horrified. The waiter, in his unending credit, just took a breath and said, "I don't have control over the order in which the kitchen fires tickets, but what I can tell you is it should be out any minute," and left without saying anything.
Good.
I have been holding my tongue all night as well in the name of my relationship, but once the tip hit the table, the $8 tip for a $100+ bill on top of all else, I figured if my girlfriend was half the woman I thought she was, she wouldn't mind me speaking up at this point. If anything, she'd be supportive, right? So I scooted my chair back a bit and said, "Listen, I know what you're doing with the cash on the table, but that kind of thing makes me really uncomfortable and it's not called for. Please put the money away and we can just continue this some other time." My girlfriend's dad spits back, "What? How cheap do you have to be not to believe in tipping service workers?" Before I could process whether he was serious or yanking my chain, Ellen shocked me with, "No, you know what? You're right. This isn't necessary." I should have known better than to be relieved. She folded the bills back into her wallet, patiently waiting for the next plate of mashed potatoes to be carried out. And when it wasn't delivered to us, it was a very common side dish at this place. It's a steakhouse. She went right up to a stranger's table and picked it up off their table. Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine?
I heard this on Spotify today and went to Reddit to find this so that I wouldn't have to type it all out. I was like, "Oh, thank you," because it is long, but it is good.
Could you imagine? You're like, "Finally, my potatoes," and some Karen swoops in like an eagle. Oh my gosh.
She half explained something about her daughter starving to death as she was walking away with the stranger's food, but unsurprisingly, that wasn't convincing enough for them. The old lady she took it from followed her right over to our table and tried to take it back.
Not an old lady?
And I would do this.
I would too.
I'm not going to eat those potatoes because you touched them, but I'm going to take them back. Them.
Oh my gosh.
I was already searching for my coat tag in preparation to go, but a shoving match was beginning to unfold between Ellen and the elderly woman with a tennis ball walker. And honestly, I have gone too far that I was going to sit around and see what else interesting happened. The elderly woman was like, give me back my potatoes. Who are you? And the poor little girl was like, Mommy, it's okay. Don't take someone else's potatoes, which your 6-year-old knows what you're doing.
Mortified. Yeah. Yeah.
But it all fell on deaf ears. Ellen yelled at the old lady, how could you sit there and eat these when my daughter hasn't even been served yet? She's sitting here hungry, just a little girl, and you're over there stuffing your face. Come on, other potatoes will be out any minute. And the old lady, got to love her, was like, great, if they'll be out any minute, what's the effing problem?
Yeah, right?
To which Ellen, still found holier than thou ground, gasping, language, please.
Oh my gosh. Lady.
Finally.
That's the problem.
Yeah. Finally, the waiter at this time brought someone else higher up. I think the manager, thank God, came over to separate them as they began to raise their voices and cause a disturbance.
You've got to be kidding me.
Staff had already asked Ellen to turn down her daughter's iPad multiple times without it happening. And I'm guessing the waiter informed management about the tip on the table stunt she pulled because this was their final straw. They told us we were going to have to leave the restaurant. But we don't even have our food yet, Ellen complained at the guy. This was clearly not the manager's first rodeo. You can take the food that's already been served free of charge. Everything else will be canceled. Please leave immediately. The old lady didn't miss her chance to knock those potatoes right on the floor so we couldn't try to take them with us. Nothing else had been served yet.
A queen.
We had to leave without any food.
Dude, I would have been mad about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I was really wanting that steak.
When my girlfriend and I were finally alone in the car, she said, can you believe that? And I said, not at all. And I really can't believe you didn't warn me. And she went, how could I have known about any of that? And confused, I asked, is that not how she's usually like? Even more confused than me, my girlfriend asked who? And I replied, your mom. What's my mom got to do with the terrible service at that place? That was the beginning of the end of our relationship. The fact that she didn't see anything wrong with her mom's behavior and I'd be married into that situation shook me deep.
Yeah.
And they were done.
Dang it.
He never had to see Ellen again.
Oh, well, hallelujah for that.
I think she might be one of the biggest Karens.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So there's one thing I've wanted to say this whole time.
Okay.
In the beginning, when she does put the order in, the kids' order, that's normal. Like, we do that for Declan. It also kind of makes sense that she put her steak order in because it's well done. That takes so long. And if they're waiting for the entire table's food to be done before they start bringing it out, they're going to wait a long time for that steak to get well done.
I would, if I was ordering just a side of something for my child, I would be like, hey, everybody has their orders. Hey, if those mashed potatoes are done like beforehand, go ahead and bring those out for her.
Yep. Or like, put them in as an appetizer type thing. Yeah. Because like my mom orders her steak well done too. And so we always are kind of aware like she's going to order that first because it takes forever. I order my steak rare or medium rare. It probably takes 5 minutes, whereas hers takes like 20 minutes to cook. I can understand the kid food
like
going in
wanting
first,
the mashed potatoes to
totally
go in. But like she also ordered her food.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it was like are the only people that mattered at that table.
And that's weird. Especially if it's not vocalized.
I would have been so confused. I'd have been like,
bro.
Are we not eating at this dinner?
Are we all sharing this well done ribeye? Like, I object.
Yes. But thank God he got it.
Let this be a lesson, a life lesson. This is why you meet the family before you get married. Meet the family.
Go into lots of different situations, talk about possibilities so you know all the things. I knew whenever he was like, she didn't even bat an eye. I was like, yeah, she doesn't think there's anything wrong with this behavior.
Yeah, this is normal
She will be Ellen someday.
Yep, and that's just not going to work for me.
Yeah. Ugh.
Another thing that I wanted to talk about too is the iPad thing. There are a lot of places that you're not allowed to bring your kids. Like there are restaurants where kids are not allowed under a certain age because of that.
Yeah.
8:00 at night, you're going to have a pretty esteemed crowd. Like those are going to be pretty fancy people. They're not going to want to sit and listen to your kids' Cocomelon on their tablet.
And if you are going to bring your child's iPad in or whatever, use headphones.
Amen.
If you're not going to make them keep
be considerate.
Like at a very low. Because, I mean, if you're sitting there with your, iPad and it's here and you're playing a game or whatever and it's making little noises, if it's turned down low, no one else is probably going to hear it.
Yep.
Because restaurants are like blaring.
Right. Because there's a considerable level of noise in restaurants. Yeah. You know, you just expect that. But yeah, people have had to complain already. I mean, this just is an inconsiderate family from the jump.
Steakhouse Karen is definitely, I think, my winner for this week.
I think she might be my winner too. Like, it takes the cake over the shoving in the hospital.
The ER, that one, she put her hands on her. But yeah. It's just.
But like, I almost feel like that was just maybe circumstantial. Like if the person wasn't in that position and maybe they were out of the way, the shoving wouldn't have happened. Like I don't know that they intentionally walked in to
and I was gonna say, I hate that people like say assaulted when it is like, I'm not saying that it is assault technically. It is. But like,
to what level?
Yeah.
You know,
like if I, push,
assault.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like I don't know. I just I feel like that word assault should be like damages, like you hurt or you're, I don't know. Anyway, that's just my own opinion. But I couldn't believe this. And so I was so thankful when I could find it on Reddit because I was like, that's
a crazy story.
I want to share this with you guys. So
well, make sure you know who we think won this week. Make sure you guys go vote.
Yeah.
Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
all the things,
Spotify, everywhere. Like, review, leave reviews,
send us things.
Yeah, talk to us.
Yes.
We want to be your friend.
Yeah.
LOL. But so that wraps up week 10. Mm-hmm. We'll be back next week with another Battle of the Karens episode.
Yep.
Until then, stay classy, San Diego.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Bianca.
And we are
Taking Back Sunday. Oh, you had some novels.
Yeah. And so I would like to hear your first one.
Okay. Do we want to grab some coffee? Marley's being a Karen. That doesn't really make sense, but we get the picture.
And I were really engaged to be engaged. We'd both agreed we wanted to get married, but I had to do the formal. I hadn't done the. Okay. My ass.
My ass.